This is our current champion. If she wins one more game, she breaks the Joker's jackpot and wins a brand new automobile and $6,250. And now, from Television City in Hollywood, CBS presents the Joker's Wild. And here is the host of our show, Jack Barry.
Thank you very much. This is it. This is the moment a lot of you have been waiting for, to find out whether or not Shondell Spiegel can break the jackpot and win $6,250 on the automobile. We're going to get her reintroduced right now, as well as the gentleman who is challenging her. Johnny, would you do the honors, please?
Okay, Jack, our current champion has a score at present of $100. She's the mother of a 6-month-old baby boy, and her name is Shondell Spiegel. Her opponent has a score of $200, and he is a real estate broker. His name is Walter Littenberg.
Welcome back to the Joker's Wild. When we interrupted our last program, the champion was trailing 100 to 200. She's got a lot at stake. And are you all set to get right back into the battle, Shondell?
I hope so.
You know, if I were you, I wouldn't turn around too much. You'd be terrified by the bow tie that your opponent is wearing. Walter, was that designed to spook her out or something?
No, just a little ham and me.
Well, you looked very well with it, and that $200 looks mighty big at the moment. Let's take a look at the categories we were using when the game was interrupted. They were Clark Gable, American poets, Japan, comedians, exotic foods. Champion Shondell, you have $100. You're going for the jackpot, spin, and good luck. American poets, Japan.
Well, I'll take American Poets for $100.
$100 question. Here is the question. This American poet is probably most well remembered for his major work entitled Leaves of Grass. For $100 more, what is his last name?
Whitman?
Yes, Walt Whitman. Now the game is tied, 200 to 200, and Walter Littenberg, your spin. Joker, American poet. How do you want to play it?
I'll go for American Poets for $200, Jack.
You're going all the way. If you answer correctly, you would be at $400. One of the major American poets of this century, this man was a noted Lincoln historian and compiled such books of verse as The People, yes. What is his name for $200?
Frost?
No, that's not correct. You can pick up $200 here, Shondell. What's his name?
Sandberg.
You're right. You're going to... She could be on her way to breaking that jackpot. We'll find out right after these words for the people at home, right here. Shondell Spiegel is only $100 away from breaking the jackpot and taking home over $12,000 in cash and prizes. Your spin, Shondell. Exotic foods, comedians. Can't do it this time.
I'll take comedians for $50.
This would bring you to $450. One of the most durable comedians starred in Our Miss Brooks and The Mothers-in-Law. Name her.
Eve Arden.
Right to $450. Walter Littenberg. Joker, comedian.
I'll go for comedians for $200, Jack.
Okay, you could be right back in this ball game if you can answer this one. She was the dumb blonde in the television series My Friend Irma, which premiered in 1952. For $400 in total, name the comedian.
Marie Wilson.
You're at $400. A very tight game here, $450 to $400. Either one could still win the game. Shondell. Comedian, American poet, exotic foods.
I'll take comedians for $50.
If you answer correctly, you will have $500. That's all you need, but your opponent does get a final spin. Although this comedian was featured in the film Come Back, Little Sheba, she is probably best remembered for her role as television's Hazel. For $500, name her.
Shirley Booth.
Right, for $500. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here is one of those moments that occur every once in a while on the Joker's Wild. Her fate is actually in his hands. Walter, you will have to spin at least a double and answer correctly to tie her. A triple would beat her, as would 3 jokers, and a question answered correctly. Failing any of those things, Shondell Spiegel will have broken the jackpot and will take home in cash and prizes $12,062. Your spin, Walter. Japan, Joker, Clark Gable. What do you want to do?
We'll try Japan for 100, Jack.
Japan for 100. If you answer correctly, it'll be all tied up. If you miss, she has won $12,062. Here is the question. A majestic conical peak is the highest point of elevation in the Japanese islands. For $500 and a tie, name it.
Mount Fujiyama.
Right, for $500. All right, we have a tie game, 500 to 500. Now we will each get an even number of turns, and whoever has the most at the end of any round will be the winner of the game. Shondell, your spin. Joker. Joker, American Pie.
I have to try American Poets for 200. I don't know anything about them.
All right. Is that how you want to play it?
Yeah.
You do it? Okay, here we go. American Poet. This would bring you up to $700. Here, once the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard round the world. That's from the Concord Hymn. For $700, what is the last name of the author?
Frost.
No, that's not right. This game will be over. Your opponent, Walter Littenberg, will have $700, and he will become the new champion if he can tell me the name of the author.
I have no idea.
Ralph Waldo Emerson. However, I do point out that that could have been a fatal mistake for Shondell because he now does get a spin. Walter, here is a spin that could mean it all for you. Clark Gable, American Poet, Comedians.
Comedians for 50, Jack.
If you answer correctly, you will have $550 and you will become the new champion. If you miss and she answers, she will win and will break the jackpot and will have over $12,000. Here it is. Before appearing on Laugh-In, this comedian, known for her hatred of chicken jokes, had appeared in the Mad Show in New York. For $550 and the championship, name her.
Goldie Hawn.
Wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, if Shondell Spiegel can give me the answer, she will win over $12,000 in cash and prizes.
Joanne Worley.
Joanne Worley. Joined by her husband, a very, very excited Shondell. Her husband's with her. We'll talk to both of them in just a moment. Let's say goodbye to a good sport who really missed out right at the end.
Thank you, Jack.
What is your name, sir?
Ed.
I beg your pardon?
Ed.
Ed?
Spiegel.
You're Ed? Yes, I know your name is Spiegel. Ed Spiegel, thought I didn't know. He thinks I'm excited as he is, and I almost am. Shondell, how do you feel now?
Hysterical.
Really? You played magnificently. You know, in addition to all the gifts and prizes, you know, of course, that you did win a beautiful car. Would you like to see that car right now?
Yes.
Here's the car you won. Let's take a look at it right now. Here we go. An automobile just for you.
A 73
Yes,
Vega Camback wagon. It has a swing-up tailgate and a fold-down back seat. It handles like a little sports car from Chevrolet.
The prizes are yours, the trips are yours. Do you have any plans of how you would spend that money?
On the trip?
Back to Mexico?
Oh, yeah.
You really had a good time there.
Well,
Yeah?
bad honeymoon.
Who has a bad honeymoon? Tommy Manville used to. I don't know. Ed, I want to say congratulations to you. I hope you have lots of fun spending the money. You go back out in the audience because you know that your wife can go on now to jackpot number 2. Who knows? She may make you a very wealthy man. Congratulations. Thank you very much. We'll be right back after these words for jackpot number 2. Before I go on, I just must ask you one question. Just one. How precisely did you feel the moment he missed and said, Goldie Hawn?
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. And I'm surprised that Joanne Worley didn't stick in my throat. I really am.
Well, she's rather big for that.
Yeah.
But I knew that must have been a great moment for you. $12,112 are yours in cash and prizes. That's jackpot 1. You can go on and beg jackpot 2. Go on all the way up to $25,000 if you can stick it out. Let's find out how you do in this next jackpot as we meet the next player.
Our next player is a news photographer who was born and raised right here in Los Angeles. Let's welcome Mark Jones.
Mark, nice to have you on the show.
Thanks very much.
I understand when we had that great big fire over there in the valley over in California in 1971, you had a very close call. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, for a while I thought I was going to be a victim. I was racing down a street and homes on both sides were ablaze. I was counting homes, if you'll believe it, trying to get the right shot. And I found myself trapped, and I thought, this is it, superheated air, and I couldn't breathe. And I raced back. I found a fire truck and protection, and I was able to breathe. I did know whether I was going to be a victim. It was too much.
You got out of it alive, though, right?
I'm here, yes.
I was relatively sure of that answer before I asked. Okay, you're up against a very formidable opponent, and here are the categories that we'll be using. They are as follows. Famous Joes, primitive cultures, hoaxes, nicknames of teams, and horror movies. Starting on her second jackpot, Shondell Spiegel, spinning good luck. Primitive cultures, famous Joes, and a pair.
I'll take famous Joes for 100.
This former Joe once played professional baseball, but today he is the host of a popular television game show. Name him.
Joe Garagiola.
Correct for $100. Your first spin, Mark Jones. Good luck to you. Primitive cultures, famous Joes, horror movies.
Famous Joes for 50.
His acid-tongued remarks played havoc with his guests, but it didn't seem to detract from the popularity of this famous Joe's talk show. Name him.
Would you repeat the question?
Yes. His acid-tongued remarks played havoc with his guests, but it didn't seem to detract from the popularity of this famous Joe's talk show. Name him. I want to clarify that this famous Joe is not currently living.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
All right, you'll pick up another $50 if you can answer it, Shondell.
Joe Pine.
Joe Pine is right. You go to $150. Score 150 to 0, and it is your spin. Primitive culture, horror movies, famous Joes.
I'll take famous Joes for 50.
His papers were the basis of a recent motion picture employing his last name. Name this famous Joe.
Valachi.
Correct. You go to $200. Mark Jones, your spin. Joker, horror movies, and a triple.
Horror movies for 200.
Darren McGavin played the part of a reporter in a television horror movie entitled Night Stalker. For $200, what type of monster was the Night Stalker?
A vampire.
Yes, that's right, for $200. All tied up, 200 apiece. Shondell Spiegel. Famous Joes, horror movies, and a pair.
Famous Joes for 100.
A guy named Joe was the 1943 hit of a Hollywood actor, famed for his role as Father Flanagan. Name the actor who portrayed a guy named Joe.
Spencer Tracy?
Yes, you go to $300. Mark Jones. Horror movies, pair, primitive cultures.
Horror movies for 100.
In the horror movie Son of Frankenstein, the monster had a horrifying friend with a broken neck sustained when he was hanged. Name Frankenstein's friend. Can't answer?
No.
You'll get $100 more if you can answer. Shondell?
Hunchback.
No, Igor. Igor. Score 300 to 200. Your spin, Shondell. Horror movies. Famous Joes, primitive cultures.
I'll try Famous Joe's for 50.
This fictional boxer had a man named Nobby Walsh as his manager. Name this famous Joe.
Joe Palooka.
Correct. You go to $350. Your spin. Mark. Nicknames of teams, famous Joes, and a joker.
Okay, Famous Joe's for 100.
In the highly controversial film Joe, who played the title role?
Peter Boyle.
Right. You go to $300. Score 300 to 350. We'll be back to finish this game after these words. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Easter week is almost on us, and that's the week, you know, when we'll be having children here on the program playing for prizes, money, college education, grammar school education, high school education, spending money. So be sure to be with us during Easter week. Make it a point to watch The Joker's Wild, and when we will be accommodating all the requests that we've received to have children playing our show. Remember, that's Easter week when the children are home from school. Have them, and we hope you too, watching The Joker's Wild. Now back to our game with a score 350 to 300. The categories are Famous Joes, Primitive Cultures, Hoaxes, Nicknames of Teams, and Horror Movies. Champion ahead, spin Shondell. Nicknames of Teams, Primitive Cultures, and a pair.
I'll try Primitive Cultures for 100.
If you're right, you'll go to $450. This documentary film of the early 60s explored Dutch New Guinea and its primitive peoples, many of whom were cannibals. Name this provocative motion picture.
Lord of the Flies?
No, that's not correct. You'll pick up $100 if you can give me the answer, Mark Jones.
Will you repeat the question?
Yes, this documentary film of the 60s explored Dutch New Guinea and its primitive peoples, many of whom were cannibals. Name the provocative motion picture.
Mondokane?
I beg your pardon?
Mondokane?
No, The Sky Above and the Mud Below. Sorry you don't score, but it is your spin. Nicknames of teams, Joker and Primitive Cultures.
Primitive Cultures for 100.
Traditionally used by the Mongols and nomadic Turks, exactly what is a yurt? Y-U-R-T.
It's a hat.
I beg your pardon?
It's a hat.
No, I'm sorry, it is not a hat. Yurt said wrong. What is a yurt?
Who was it used by again? By the...
Y-U-R-T.
No. Repeat who it's used by. I'm sorry.
Oh, surely. It's used by the Mongols and the nomadic Turks. What is a yurt?
A conveyance.
Oh, I thought everybody would know that. A type of portable house.
Oh.
Sorry, nobody scores. 350 to 300, but it is your spin, Shondell. Nicknames of teams, a pair, Primitive Cultures.
Well, I'll try Nicknames of Teams for 100.
What college football team is known as the Razorbacks?
Oh. Indiana?
Not right. You got a chance to forge into the lead here, Mark Jones. What college?
North Carolina?
Nope, Arkansas. Arkansas. But it is your spin, Mark. Nicknames of teams, horror movies, Primitive Cultures.
Horror movies for 50.
Okay. Lon Chaney was the original of this horror movie character. The role was recreated by both Claude Rains and Herbert Lom. Name the character.
Again, would you repeat the...
Lon Chaney played the original. The role was recreated by both Claude Rains and Herbert Lom. Name the character.
Phantom of the Opera.
That's right, Phantom of the Opera. It's all tied up. 350 to 350. Your spin, Shondell. Nickname, Joker, Primitive Culture.
Well, nicknames for 100.
What is the nickname of Atlanta's professional football team?
Oh, Hawks?
Nope,
No.
not right. $100 for you if you can give me the answer.
Falcons.
Falcons is right. You go to $450. Score 350 to 450. This could be a turning point in the game. Mark Jones, your spin.
Better be.
Horror movies, Joker, Primitive Cultures.
I'm going to take horror movies for 100.
Horror movies for 100. If you answer correctly, you will have $550 and you will be the new champion. In the movies, as well as in legend, a certain pungent plant used in cooking is a sure safeguard against vampires. For $550 in the championship, what is it?
A terrace root, wolfbane, that's my answer.
No, that's not right. You can get $100 here if you can give me the answer, Shondell.
I don't know, tarragon.
No, you should have smelled this answer. Garlic. Garlic. Score stands 350 to 450, and we'll finish this game if there's time. Our time is absolutely gone. Shondell, can you come back to the next show and finish the game? At 350. How about you at 450?
Definitely.
Fine. Come back. We'll show you the categories. Again, play with the same categories. And Shondell, congratulations for winning $12,112. And we'll see you next time on The Joker's Wild. Goodbye, everybody.
Departing contestants receive new DuPont Lucite interior enamel for easy care. Lucite from DuPont for painted surfaces you want to keep clean. Plus, Miro's handsomely styled 8-piece Manhattan 2 cookware set in avocado bearing the Teflon 2 quality seal. Teflon-coated interior for people who have to eat and run. And Sanilac, the non-fat dry milk with the fresh milk taste. It's all natural, fortified with vitamins A and D. Plus, Tootsie Pops, hard candy with a chewy Tootsie Roll center. 2 candies in one for twice the fun. Plus, Marcel Hypoallergenic Cosmetics, pure as nature, impurities out, and extra moisturizers in. 43 lipstick shades from Marcel Cosmetics. All contestants are selected in advance and are advised on the rules of